it's but the way that I want to construct the stories that I tell, it kind
Yeah.
of it changes, and it mostly changes to see like what works, what doesn't, what how can I how can I make sure that the audience knows what I want to talk about, or they're trying to understand the message that I'm trying to say. That's most likely the focus above anything else, above like
Yes.
the manga style, personally. Because if you go to
Yeah. It's like
Japan, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying it's just executing the message and making sure you know, make it not say readable, but make sure the audience can understand where you're coming from. Kind of like, but go ahead. You're saying,
Yeah. Also, hi, Mr. Cat Buttface. I was
are
saying like,
we? So we're live right now?
yeah, we're live. My thing,
Okay, so
is, I'm pretty sure if you go to Japan, they're not going to think that manga is like the pinnacle of like storytelling, because it is just what it is out
no.
there. Well, it's better. Like,
Yeah,
it is what it is. What out there, and you're not telling a story for them. You're telling a story for Americans first and foremost. I remember I had a conversation with a comic creator when I was
yeah.
attending a mini convention yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? No,
How
two
did it
days
go?
ago. Oh yeah, it was good. It was good. I was just being like
Good.
an attendant. I was just there, just
Hmm.
like walking around doing the backpack vending thing, and I was talking to
Okay.
like a comic cover artist, and we had a interesting conversation about the west, like he's like a western comic guy,
I
doing
see.
kickstarters and whatnot. And within our conversation, he was talking about like diversity in the in like western comics, modern western comics. And he said that
Yeah.
he got he even though it's the comics aren't for him, he thinks that it's a good thing that comics are being diverse in the way that things are, right? And I pushed
Like,
what?
go ahead. Oh no, go ahead. I was like, I'll get delve deeper into that. I'm gonna wait till you're finished.
Yeah, but I pushed back a little bit on that idea, saying that
Yeah.
people who he proposed that like back then comics was just for white guys, like white males, and it's cool that now that we're in the modern age of comics, its stories are being written for people who aren't like straight white males. And I pushed back on that idea that people who weren't part of that demographic, they still liked the comics, not because of the identities of the heroes,
Yeah.
but and not even just that the
This,
stories were good. They liked it because of the what the heroes were doing, their motivations.
yeah.
Yeah, and like because the stories were good. And if you
Yeah.
watch like a Spider-Man movie, if you watch a Spider-Man or watch Spider-Man movie, if you read a Spider-Man comic or any like Marvel or DC comic, and your main thought and like a thought in your mind saying, "Man, there were too many people of this identity in this
Yeah. Then
comic,"
something's wrong.
that's weird. Like
Yeah.
it would make sense if the comic was about diversity, then it would make sense to talk about like the people groups being represented in that comic. But if it's mostly about great power comes with great responsibility, and then you're thinking about
Yeah.
race, then that is something wrong with that
There's
individual
yeah.
writer.
No, I agree because it's like well, the story was good, but where's all the other color people at?
Yeah,
I'm half black, whatever, but I've had incidents where I would show my work to my own family outside of my main family,
mm-hmm.
and I would get back, comments like, uh, I have colored people in my books, but I don't talk about it. They're there, but I don't make it an emphasis, or I don't care about that stuff. Like I know it's there, but in my work, I'm not gonna. talk about diversity and all that. You know, there'll be other color characters, whatever, but at the same time, that's like not my focus. I don't focus on that, you know.
Right.
And on top of that, it's like, did you even read the story, or did you?
And
Well,
that's the thing. Like they aren't.
you know,
Go ahead.
it's like, it was like when I showed my uncle. You know, I love him to death, but he went straight to skin color, and I said, "Give me that shit, put it away," because it's like, did you even fucking read it? You know, like, did you understand the message or what I was trying to get at? But instead, you went straight to skin. You went straight to the avatar, like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I use that term a lot, like, and he was just, it was just kind of frustrating. It's like, if it's like you watch a Predator movie or a Freddy Krueger movie or whatever, do you say shit like that? Or,
It's
did you watch it? Were you watching it, or were you there for the to see if someone looked like you? You know, that's so stupid.
you know that the funniest thing. It's like it's was that mentality that I gravitate a lot to anthropomorphic characters. Is because like you're not going to see, and also I just really hate it when there's like
Yeah,
when there's like anthropomorphic stories talking about race because
yeah,
usually
yeah.
it's done piss poorly because like you
Yeah,
can't because you really can't analog that with it with animals, especially when like all the animals are like of different like species because
BC.
there yeah
Yeah,
there's a natural hierarchy of like of nature that like
yeah.
you're going to
I
be
will.
yeah you're born to be prey or you're born to like prey upon others. And
Yeah,
if you want to say like there's an analog to that in like human society, not really. It's like it really depends on the society, and even that the whole caste system is more or less arbitrary. Not more, it's completely arbitrary, right? So it's really so you can't really do that with doing animals with humans.
but
But
with
that's like a
animals.
tangent of mine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like a tangent of mine, right? But the
yeah,
when and that also kind of reminds me of when I was making Purgatory Academy, right? Uh,
yeah.
when I was like working on this for the when I was like in high school, like a lot of the characters I made initially were white, and that was just me, just drawing what I saw because I went to a majority white high school, so I would
I
draw
see.
like majority white people or like characters in my book. And like the funny thing is, it was like that my friends who were majority white, they're like, "There's too many white people here," like,
Oh,
and I
like,
thought it was
does that
yeah,
bother you, or is that like, well, and it's just like, well, I know what I wanted to do. I'm not like, I don't hate my own color or something. I just,
yeah,
this is what I'm creating, I didn't even, it's like one of those things you didn't really
influence,
keep that in mind, did you? You
yeah.
didn't say, well, this is going to be about race, and this is what is going, it's like you didn't think about race. You didn't think about that stuff, did you? You just kind of just made
No.
it.
But the fact that I remember my friend, his name's Ben. He said like I remember he said that he had that idea that like you need to have more diverse people in like Purgatory Academy, and like the way that I interpret that was everybody dies, and I like that's probably what wasn't what he was going for, but that's how I read it,
Yeah.
and that was like a little bit that was like pretty profound. That kind of really made me push for a lot of different looking people in Purgatory Academy. Not because I really want everybody to be represented. It's more that I think it fits the narrative that like the truth is universal no matter like what background that you're from.
Yeah.
But that's
And
yeah,
like
but
it does. Okay. Oh, no, no, but I'll let you finish that.
no, I was done.
About, well, I mean, like, uh so you mean like, because I mean, the thing is like this whole diversity thing as well, like, um so this comic artist, this illustrator that you met out there, like, what was he trying to get at? Like, is he like, I mean, does he do
Oh,
like
okay.
diverse work?
Oh wait, I forgot to say my point about the conversation. Right, my
Oh
point
yeah, go
about the
ahead. Yep.
conversation was, um, people that weren't of that straight white background, they love
Yeah.
the stories regardless, because it was authentic. It was different. It was what they weren't used to. It's like how Westerners love manga, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's when
Yeah.
you're familiar with like Western style of storytelling, and then you go to like a manga or an anime where they just have all these different
Oh yeah.
festival. Like they have some of the familiar like high school, but then they have the unfamiliar like the cuisine, like the festivals, like
Yeah.
all the things that are specifically Japanese that makes Americans go like, "Wow, that's amazing." This is you're basically talking to them about a different planet.
Well, because they let their culture. I mean, their culture kind of runs through their works,
Yeah,
and I guess in American culture, I guess in some way they're like, well, and I don't understand like how come we're here in America is supposed to be the land of the free and all that stuff, and but yeah, we're people have that victimhood mentality, like saying, I go ahead, I'm gonna let you
oh yeah,
finish this
and
out.
I say that and like really don't really stress about following Kitsu and Kenketsu Kisho Tenketsu or anything like that,
Yeah,
because if you're familiar with if the hero's journey with a Western style storytelling with an Eastern style art with the Eastern art style, that's its own blend of familiar with something new, right?
yeah, it's yeah,
So I
because I mean, you're kind of taking something that's someone of else's culture, and you're taking that, but then you're kind of blending it with our culture.
yeah,
We really have one,
yeah, we do.
but
We
we
literally
do. I
do.
know.
Yeah, like, and
We do. It's just. I just, in a way, it just feels like people are afraid to sometimes be American or talk about. It's just like because of some things in 2016, things change. Like we ended up in the Twilight Zone, and now we're talking about diversity, what's between your legs, and all that stuff. Like it feels like propaganda being implemented in escapism, and I'm taking that out of in my work. I don't put the propaganda stuff like all the diversity, all that stuff. I don't put that stuff in my work. I just I'm trying to
mm-hmm.
create escapism, entertainment, and also a story. But I mean, if I wanted to write, I did have in mind to kind of do a book like that about purple and green people,
Right.
and how they have differences, and at the same time they can breed with each other and make kids and all that shit. But at the same time they're like they hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's a topic for another future. It's just kind of scattered brain right now.
I get you. Honestly, I think Chimera. No, no, I think Chimera Island is that story. Is my racial story because it's all about
Really,
identity. Yeah, pretty much. Because
I
like
have to pick up a copy.
it's and it's like and I think I remember. I think it's like it hits heavy when it goes to like
Yeah.
at least for chapter 0 it goes to Jonathan's part cuz there's like 4 parts. Well, there's technically 5. The I try to like make have an interlude, a 2-page interlude between the characters
Mhm.
perspective and that 2-page interlude is specifically for world building, but it like the audience, but I don't want the audience to feel like they're being uh, having exposition told about them. So it's just the background characters talking about whatever that like links whatever links one character to another. I guess
Okay.
for I guess like one of the ways that when the interlude would link from one character to another is like Sarah to Ruth. Like Sarah like goes from the outside world and crawls down to a burrow to her underground world where the story takes place. And that's where we see Ruth, who is who is just leaving school. That's a part of this new underground world. And
And
what?
oh, it's your story. Go ahead. I'm like, well,
Oh yeah.
I'm curious.
Oh yeah, and from Ruth story. Oh yeah, and from like a Ruth story to Odd, like a character named Odd story, and that the way that they connect from one another is like they leave from one location, and they leave from one location and they find themselves into Odd story while he's basically getting bullied from like I guess from people from a higher echelon of society because his mother's a prostitute, which was very funny to write. And like, cause I expected this story to be like for middle school and up, but then I was like, oh, and it's like it's very important that like his mother is doing something that's shameful to the society, because like the whole point about Odd is that because of like his mother's profession, everybody has his idea that he it's like it's like sins of the father is like sins of the mother. Like everybody knows what his mom does, and they think that he's better off either his mother being dead or them both being dead because they don't want that part of their society at all. But the thing is, everybody has this perception of who Odd is. But the thing about Odd is that he, from a young age, he have a strong idea of who he is, and he has this love for he has a love for his country and like his fellow Chimeras that don't care that would rather see him dead. And like so like his whole thing is not trying to find, but he's trying to earn the respect of his community, despite like his community thinking that he's no
kind of shonen them.
Yeah, he's kind of like the typical shonen. And from Odd to Jonathan, and Jonathan is where the story kind of gets a little bit flipped on its head, because for this entire the entire story you see a bunch of animal characters, but then the Jonathan story you see that there are human characters as well, and the human characters are living like on the top side that started from the same location, like a full circle where Sarah was from, right? And I established that Jonathan is born from like two chimeras, right? And like that's like a little bit of a hint. It's like one of those things that's like chimeras are essentially like chimeras are come from people, but if two chimeras from different species, when they intermingle, they create a human.
Oh,
And that's what Jonathan is. But because Jonathan is within the higher echelons, the children, well, these specific groups of children, they say that he's a human just like one of them. But Jonathan, he doesn't see himself like the other humans. But when like because he wears a mask, like it's like a literal and metaphorical. It's a literal and metaphorical mask that he wears around other people, around like the other humans.
Is it he does this for his like protection, or does he just do this to?
He does it as like
Kinda...
he does it as like kind of like that. He doesn't feel like he's one of them. He feels like he's closer to chimeras than he does to other humans.
Interesting.
And
now, are there other people like him?
Other human chimeras?
Yeah.
No. Would you like me to
like,
spoil?
He's the only one.
Oh yeah, he's the only one, and there's a good reason for that.
Okay.
Well, I don't. Well, I'll just say it, right? I'll just say it, right? Like
okay.
The only reason why.
I mean, are you okay?
I'm okay with that. I don't like. The only reason why it's like that is because every chimera can like intermingle, like have not intersex, but like interspecies relationships, and they create humans. But the problem with that, is that they don't do it because they believe that the offspring won't live long, so they don't. So it's like it's within everybody's genetic code to like create offspring that will live, that a long lasting offspring, right? so they marry within their species. They interlock within their species. So when they make a human, they don't think it's gonna last long. So what happens with Jonathan? The overseers kind of intervene, and they're like, "We're gonna keep him alive." But there's gonna be like a twist that like they could do it this whole time. There was no deficiencies. It's just that the overseers just kill the human offspring when they ever they come up, and they keep Jonathan alive as an experiment. This just a what if, what happens. So
Wow.
the reason why
Yeah.
Jonathan is around is like let's see how is because overseers are just they agree to see like let's see what happens. What would this do to a psyche? Would to a person's psyche like that?
I mean, are they trying to screw with them, or are they just? Is this like a
Yeah,
bad, like a terrible? Okay,
yeah, because like every like
that's kind
Chimera,
of cold.
yeah, Chimera Island is a it's. Have you ever played Bioshock? Are you familiar with
Um,
Bioshock?
yeah, I'm kind of familiar with. I've
It's,
never really
oh,
played.
so
I only played the first one.
Bioshock is essentially like uh, an uh, a location that's filled with scientists and artists, and it's basically a thought experiment of what if there was a completely libertarian society, right?
Undersea or any well,
Like undersea and
Bioshock in general.
yeah, and undersea in the air anywhere that's like detached from the government. That's literally what like Chimera Island is. It's a
Mm,
gigantic experiment from a bunch of scientists who established it because at first they wanted to create they wanted to grow or like create beings to or harvest their organs and sell them
yeah,
for a profit. But they realized that they can create a brand new like living being, so that has the capability to create more, to be more than just like human like
organ harvester.
or organ harvesters. So they're like, oh yeah,
Yeah, or
they can
Beehor.
yeah. So they just as they like they're like, oh yeah, this thing can do like basically what a human does. Let's just create a new subclass of humans to enslave them. So they can create like art, agriculture. So we can just we'll just keep them underground, and we'll just steal all their stories. We'll steal all of their produce, and then we'll sell it to the greater world of the greater outside world, so we can make a profit, and hopefully we'll send them out to the outside world to convert every human being into a chimera. And that's like a later stage of like the plan, because they got like a new guy, not a new guy, but there's like a two different ideologies within the overseer group that Jonathan is a part of. There's like one part that believes that, oh yeah, that like the chimeras are basically their purpose is to save the world from humanity, from killing it from pollution. They're basically like environmentalists,
Yeah,
right? Like
sentient though.
extreme environmentalists that says like no, human beings are terrible. Like if we leave humans to their own devices, they're going to kill all the life on the earth. So we need to create chimeras that are super reliant on each other to prevent
Yeah.
that world domination. While the other group of overseers are like, anybody who's not of our people group are literal animals, cattles, worse than that don't have any souls.
They're dehumanized. They're not. They're below us.
Yeah, anybody that's not of our genetic race or genetic creed, they're literally less than human. The fact that if they are human, they should be chimeras. So the only human should be of our genetic creed.
Huh.
So there's like two so like so I don't know when that's going to happen, but I do want like a civil war to break out between like those two overseer groups.
Man, that's okay.
And
I
then
mean, like,
all that's happening while chimeras are like, oh yeah, I'm alive, I have a job, like I have family.
yeah.
Life is good.
So, okay, I'm gonna have to like, like, here's another one I thought would be interesting. I don't know if anyone's done it yet. Um, so I thought about it's a story I thought about in the future, or I might give it to someone else. But it's like, what if AI created a religion and there was a Bible that AI made, and it took
Mm.
all the religions and kind of compiled it into one thing, and then people started following it and believing it, like, and started throwing away all the old stuff and started taking truth and fact and into this whole AI like a Bible. It's it was a thought that was been formulating in my mind. I thought it had been kind of interesting.
Mm.
Um, I don't know how that would go about, but I don't know. I always have ideas like that, but
I think what would really sell it
fuck
is
man,
I think what would really sell it is understanding like I think we had this conversation before, like last time. Like every religion has a purpose to exist, and they
yeah,
identify a problem, and they say this is the solution for that problem. Until you like you understand that, then you would have a better understanding of like what you want to see in
yeah,
that story.
yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, definitely. I wouldn't go about it blindly, like, well, this, and not know shit about a certain religion, and that'd be pretty dumb. But no, yeah, um, it's like the same thing. Like, I mean, I'm sure you got more stories in mind.
Oh
I
man,
mean, do you have like,
yeah, I've a. I think like Chimera Island's like my favorite. Like, I won't say my favorite one, but the one that I have like the most ideas for. Not even like in the main story, but like in a side story, because I have like this one novella that I want to write about. That's literally just about a what does it mean to have power?
hmm,
Like is and like the whole and like the main characters are all female. So like what
and
like
that's the whole,
it plays with
what's it?
it plays with the ideas of like what how power takes in different forms because a lot of people think power is just raw strength, but power
And it's
is
not.
yeah it's power is like very
It
close
can,
to influence. There's like
it's
monetary
like that
power.
whole,
Well, good.
it's like that whole thing where the pen is mightier than the sword kind of thing. It's like I mean,
Yeah.
true
Oh
power.
yeah. There's like
You know,
there's like several characters that represents different types of power. Like the three main characters. One that's like kind of similar to Jonathan's position, where she is like an offspring of a bear, like a herbivore and a carnivore, like a bear and a deer. But like nobody
uh,
know like for the majority of the story, nobody knows that she's like like a Chimerian offspring. This takes place in like the main like in America, right? Somewhere in America. But while the majority of people, like everybody in America, they don't know what a chimera is yet. So this girl that has like a dubious background. She goes to school. She wants to have a normal life, but like she has a normal life. But she's like whatever. Whatever. I'm just doing my thing. But she is gifted with like the strength of a bear or something like that. And everybody's thinking like that's weird. But like she represents like absolute strength. And another girl that represents like influence of money, monetary power, and the third one that
yeah,
has like power of like the sword because she's a reporter. She's kind of like a conspiracy theorist, but she's
yeah,
like but she knows like the power of the pen, right? But like throughout
yeah.
how the story goes, like it falls apart really quickly because like I think I remember I've written like a couple of chapters, and what I've written so far was essentially it starts off like a girl, like the protagonist bullies like a weaker, like a smarter girl, just so they can get like work, so just so they can like get like homework done. But at the end of the chapter, the weak girl she kind of gets her lick back, and the sense of outing her secret of being like not outing her secret of being a chimera, but like she does have her revenge. That like well yeah she outs her secret that she cannot like go to the school because she's not because of her dubious past being outed of like not
Oh my,
being human of a human class, right?
that's what she's Okay.
Yeah, so like
Because of her status.
yeah, because of her status. So she gets thrown into an animal school, right? She gets kicked out and
Yeah.
gets thrown into like the animal school, where she used to be on the top of the food chain at the human school because of her raw strength. Now she's at the bottom. She's like with the actual
Oh
animals.
wow, like what the hell is
Yeah, she's like she gets thrown to like the bottom of the food chain, and her
like
and
sorry.
her guide is essentially a spider monkey. Basically, my gym partner's a monkey, but like that's my template for this whole
Yeah.
for the thing.
I see.
Yeah,
But more serious.
but it's more serious. That's one thing that I did like about my gym partner's a monkey though, because like I feel like they had a very interesting thing about race, even though they didn't mean to. And like the whole
Yeah.
thing is like not everybody is meant to do what humans do, or like not every class of people is meant to do like what a certain class is to do. Some people just want to be some people are like just want to be zoo animals. Some people just like, and then that's like a derogatory
Yeah.
thing, so let me explain that a little
Yeah,
bit.
no. I
Yeah,
mean, no. I mean, saying it like that, no. You're right
yeah.
because I mean,
Not everybody
I've
wants
met
to be
people like that.
yeah, not everybody wants to be doctors. Not everybody wants to be
No.
like the like revolutionary, like not
Yeah,
revolutionaries.
they just
Some
want to
people
exist.
they just want to
They
like do their job, not just exist. They
yeah.
like their idea. They like the idea that they are going to be zoo animals. They that gives them purpose in life, and like it's not
I,
like don't rip like if their purpose in life is serving purpose through like the broader society, right? A positive purpose of being a broader society, because there's nothing negative about being a zoo animal, right? Like if that's their purpose, and if they like that,
then
then
so be it.
don't force
Yeah,
them, don't force the fish out of water.
you're right. You're right. Okay, you're right
So
about that. And there's people like that. It using, yes, there are people kind of like that, and you can't. Doesn't matter whether like, no, man. You know what? Drinking beer, smoking weed,
yeah, it's like that
watching TV. This is all I want, man. Don't give me no doctor shit. Don't give me nothing complicated. This is
literally.
this is this is it, man. I go to work. This is what I do
I,
after.
I go to work, I buy some beers, I chill with my friends at the pub, and that's like what else is there to life? And oh yeah, and I go to my and I
Yeah.
go home to my wife and kids. What is there like? What do you mean? I
Yeah.
gotta be a doctor. This is life. This is good.
Yeah, like this is enough. This is all I need right here. This is no,
Yeah,
I can understand that.
that's what I got from my gym partner's a monkey, by the way.
I have
like
to
a,
watch
like
that again.
no, it's
I
not.
like that show.
It's not as philosophical as you think it is, dog. It's just a but. It's mostly just butt
I
jokes.
know it's silly. Still a good show.
Yeah. No, but like the one thing that I want to do with my novella is the chimeras. Like everybody in the school are chimeras too, right? But they have like the ideology that they are going to be the replacement for the human species. So the whole point of like the school that the girl's been sent to is to basically train these chimeras in the ways of like human society, so they can essentially assimilate and take over. And it's like their way of like taking over, like but in a more peaceful assimilation way. Because they still
I
think
see.
that they chimeras still think they have that like chimerian superiority to them.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
do they
they
feel like they're like superior?
yeah they feel like they're the superior.
I,
Yeah, like from their homeland, from Chimera Island, they're told it's within their like mythology that the reason that they are born is to replace the human population. So Earth will live, will maintain life, because humans are so self-centered.
destroy it.
Yeah, they so
I see.
self-centered, independent, they will destroy it. So their whole duty in life is to basically outlive humans, to make humanity extinct in order for
For
Chimerian,
them to thrive.
yeah, for Chimera, yeah, and
Okay. That's, oh, go ahead.
I think like and like the whole and like within that arc, the middle arc, I wanted to do like a fun little uh idea of like the girl with the like the Chimera girl, who has like the let's call her mixed race Chimera girl or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The mixed race girl, she
Yeah.
um want what was it? Oh wait, she has like a guide, the spider monkey, and the spider monkey begins with the story of like, man, I hate humans. Humans are stupid and dumb. But like it's kind of like she's kind of like phoning it in, but like she has like this need of like I kind of like human society. I kind of want a human I kind of want
Yeah.
a human boyfriend type deal.
Yeah.
But like
But
yeah, but things kind of go awry. Like so they do like a scratch. I scratch my back. I scratch your back. You scratch mine. Whereas like I'll help you
yeah.
survive the school if you take me to see humanity. Because like all the animals in like the school, they either go to the zoo or they go off to live in the after school is over. They live in the oh yeah, hey Lamai, hey almost AI, what's going on?
Oh
Um,
yeah. Let me check the chat. Who's all in the chat?
I just realized they were talking. I was in my bag. Um, so what the kids do, right? I'm probably gonna like private this stream, or I don't know, or make it like a thing because I'm just like telling off the stories that I have, or maybe someone's gonna tell them and it's gonna be better, but and I can improve off of it. I don't know. People don't even watch the stream playbacks anyway. But anyway, I wanted them to have like a tit for tat where like the spider monkey girl helps the biracial girl live to see another day at the school, while the
Yeah.
biracial girl just teaches the spider monkey about human customs or just like show her around society.
Okay.
And it
Like
get
so.
go ahead.
Oh no, no, go ahead. But no, I'll let you finish that.
And the catalyst of the story was gonna be like I want there to be like a scene where like a human girl like real like just like lusts after this well, not a human girl but like the spider monkey girl just lusts after this human boy because like she sees him fight and she's like oh man
Yeah.
like that's cool.
You got turned on
It's
by
like
it.
whoa, but like he got knocked out in the fight and like in a tussle and like all the boys just ran and then she just goes in she's like a she goes in like a predator and then like that just causes a whole thing of like dang and that causes a whole thing of like people seeing like the boys like yo I just got molested by a monkey and then everybody's
Oh,
like what the heck that's crazy
like
it's like we it's like that's crazy that's freaking crazy I heard and like during this whole thing everybody's been hearing rumors about like this animal school right that's been going on
yeah.
and like throughout the whole story like the reporter girl she's kind of like one step like ahead of everybody, but she's not like a fortune teller. She's just been like been doing a lot of research. Like she was the first person to
Yeah.
tell that like the biracial girl. I think I named her Eve. I named her Eve
Eve.
because it's because
That's a good name.
yeah because literally because like in my gym partner's a monkey. The main character's name is Adam. So
Adam Lyons. Yeah.
Adam Lion.
Yeah. That's a good. That'd be good. It's like
Yeah.
almost like paying homage to it.
Yeah, so like she's like the first to tell that Eve is a good chimera because of like her deductive reasoning and stuff like or just she's like when she
Yeah.
would like ask when she like goes into like Eve's background Eve is like I'm just like it's very similar to like how Jonathan was in like chapter 0 where she's like I'm like human like you it's like it's fine it's like don't worry about it but like ever since that she's got like separated
Oh.
from the school and go to the animal school everybody's just been distant from her even like all of her like human friends except for the
Close
reporter
friend.
girl that's just interested in like trying to crack this case of is there a secret animal school hidden in the forest like she wanted to know like she's like kind of in
It
it for that
yeah. It becomes a conspiracy,
yeah because of
and she's like,
conspiracy
you know,
yeah it's because of conspiracy that she
oh,
wants
let
to
me go
crack
see this
open
shit.
and then
Oh,
like
that's interesting.
yeah, I remember like the whole thing that I wanted to tell at the end of that arc of that story or whatever is like the girl she had to choose between is she going to be part of the Chimerians, or is she going to be like a part of the humans? Because if she's gonna be a part of the humans, she has to condemn her friend for like basically molesting the human boy when he was out cold. And the funny thing about that is none of the chimeras care about that the monkey molests the human. They're all
Like
like
they won't give her stuff about that. I mean, they don't see that as
yeah,
like
they don't. They're like, oh yeah, she.
degrading or anything.
No, they see that, they're like, oh, she did that to like a human boy. All right, that's crazy. I wouldn't. They're like, oh, I wouldn't do that, but like, like it's like they go to the.
I wouldn't do that.
I remember writing this scene. I remember I had this. I was in Japan. I was like thinking about this scene where like they go to the principal's office, and then like the principal's like, "Did you do that?" And then like the spider monkey girl's like, "Yeah." And then like the Eve was like, "What the heck are you doing?" Oh yeah, the spider monkey girl was name is Joan. Oh yeah, that's what I remember. Joan. And like Joan, the spider monkey girl, she's like, "Yeah, I did it." And then like Eve was like, "What the heck? Like that's not cool." That's not cool. And then the principal was like, "Do you feel bad about it?" And then Joan's like, "Not really." It's like she's like, "Oh my god." It's like
now, does she get like kind of? Well, I mean, because they know that now. Like, do they give her like kind of like not so much like backlash, but kind of a teaser because of that, or
like
or they just don't?
Joan is kind of like not the highest in like the social food chain. It's literally like the My June Partner's a monkey. Like everybody's in like their own social hierarchy in a way. So like Joan is like good at like she's not the best fighter, she's not the strongest. She just knows that everybody knows that like she's just like taking care of the human girl, so they just automatically assume that she's like soft on humans. So they're like, "Oh yeah, that's bound to happen, I guess." Whatever.
Wow.
Cause
okay.
oh yeah,
I
forgot to mention the
really...
mechanic. I forgot to mention that mechanic of like chimerans. Like chimerans, they can breed with humans, but it will always come out as a chimera.
Always.
It will always come out as the chimera. Like if
now,
it, like if
you
it,
ever
what?
I was gonna say, would you ever have a rare instance where there is a human where it'll come out as a human?
No.
Or is it like by default?
It's by default. It's by default.
Okay.
Like
Oh yeah.
So it's like the law of equivalent exchange. If two chimeras like of different species, if they breed, it will make a human. But if any chimera breeds with a human, it makes a chimera. So like a chimera that like a born chimera, if it mates with a chimera outside of that species that the father or the mother was, it's going to create a human.
Okay, regardless. Okay.
Yeah, irregardless.
Interesting.
So okay. Within the chimerian species, like they're like mating with humans are okay because it's seen as like perpetuating the chimerian race.
Interesting.
So,
okay. All right. You did mention. Okay. Yeah. No. It's Okay. So there isn't no backlash or taboo from that. Of course. Okay. All right. I just needed that cleared up because
it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's like it's gross, but it's like more or less encouraged because like it's like societally it's encouraged to do that because it progresses the race. But like they won't. But no one's gonna give you problems with it. But they'll give you more problems if you're in a relationship that doesn't like have like chimera and offspring. Like if it was like a homosexual relationship or like a mixed race relationship, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing? That's not cool." But if it's like if it creates offspring, chimerian offspring, they're like, "All right, that's permissible."
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people in this school don't care. Like in the Chimerian school, they don't care about it. They're like, oh yeah, like
there ain't no mixing the fix.
Yeah,
they're not like that.
Yeah, they're like it's fine. Like it's like, oh, she did with a human boy. That's fine. Like what? It's like
yeah, it's gonna happen, and
it's like it's like,
okay.
Yeah, so like it's fine. But like with the humans, they're like, no, it's not fine. Our kid was molested, and Eve was like, no, that's not fine. But the thing is, throughout the story, like all the humans was like kind of socially turn on Eve because she has like that Chimerian blood in her, even though she looks completely
Yeah,
like a human, right?
but they just know.
They just
Well, they
know.
know her background.
Yeah, now they know her background, and like not only like only Chimerians know like the whole point of like what it means to be a Chimera. So like humans are just like so the humans are like, oh, like are you going to uh uh like condemn this thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's either like condemn her friend and basically her safety at the school, or just be like, yeah, that happened. Sorry, sorry, that sucks.
Hey, this shit happened. I'm my bad.
And live to see another day. Sorry.
Now,
So,
how are you writing a new Chimera Island right now?
um, I'm right now. I'm focusing on the first arc, which I want it to be like 12 chapters, which is more or less, well, mostly going to be about talking about the Chimerian myth. Everything centers around like the Chimerian Genesis. I call it the Chimerian Genesis, where like it's
Chimerian.
basically like they're like they have a play that shows like where chimeras came from, like the book of Genesis, like in the beginning, and then it goes into the legend of like who created the chimeras. And the one thing that I wanted to do is show two perspectives. Oh yeah, Lamai says Chimerianism is incomplete dominant trait. Chimerianism is the absolute dominant trait. Like if you have a Chimeran wife or husband, yeah, your child is going to be like pretty positively a Chimerian. But in like the first arc, I want to show like how chimeras see or like tell the story of like how they came to be as like a species, and then like juxtaposition every time it goes to like Jonathan's part. That's like when they say like, okay, this is what really happened, like because like it's a story that I want to sell as like a fantasy. Because like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
look at all these creatures, all these like fantastical animal creatures. And then when it gets to Jonathan, it's like, no, this is a sci-fi. Like these are all like these are all like freaks of nature. Actually, they were
There's like
supposed.
nothing fantastic here.
Yeah, like actually, all of these chimeras came from slave donors, basically, DNA's from slaves. Like that's how we got. That's how like it's like splicing animals and human genes, and the human genes all came from slaves. So like, and like that's like the only like medicine, like the only potent parts. And I'll probably tell. And then everything else is like, oh yeah, I love being Chimera. It's like I love that the spirit. I love that our gods are guiding us to making the world a more perfect inhabitable place. It's gonna be fun.
That's It's like, but yeah, but I want. I mean, now, do you have an end to this, or do you want to keep going?
Oh man,
Like, I have an end to my story.
for Chimera Island, I keep changing on the ending because I'm like jumping between America finds Chimera Island and nukes everybody. Like, but
That's
like
because they're not all bad.
no, they're not all bad, but America's like we don't like these are all freaks of nature.
Yeah, these
And
are
we
freaking bad
like
experiments.
yeah, like we cannot let like the outside people know about this. So Chimera Island needs to be nuked. But like the reason why but like the Chimera but like the fact of the matter is, even if they try to nuke Chimera Island, like that's not gonna be the end of the Chimeras, because even from the beginning of like chapter 0, right? I've established that the overseers are slowly shipping out chimeras to like the outside world. So like
Oh,
the novella that I'm writing is like a couple years or decades into the future. where like Chimera, like even if Chimera Island was nuked, like like Chimerians are going to live on. They're just here. They've been in America for like a while, and the reason why they haven't been caught is because they send them out in like little in droves and waves. Like at first, like if you look at Chimera Island, there's like characters that look more anthropomorphic and some that looks more like animals, right? Like they
Yeah.
at first they specifically chosen like the more animal looking chimeras because they blend in with nature really well. Like you wouldn't be able to tell like a Chimerian squirrel from like a feral squirrel, right?
Oh wow. Okay, it's like okay.
It's like you wouldn't tell
It's
the
at that level.
It's like yeah, it's that level. So
Okay.
so
But
even if they nuked it, like that's not gonna get rid of the problem. It's already like the outside world is already infested. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to like pick up a copy of that.
and
It'll probably be next week. That's
yeah,
cool.
or you can just like read it on the website. But if you want to support it,
I mean,
I'm
like,
down for that. That's cool.
I mean, you have physicals, right?
Yeah, physicals. And
I'd rather have a physical.
oh, okay, cool. Okay, that's
I'll
gonna be
let you
cool.
know.
All right, cool. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah. Um, the way that it goes. Oh yeah, that's how Odd doesn't have a dad, right? Because the way that the Chimerian system works is like if you're going to be like if you're gonna go out to the outside world, you can never come back. But it's like an honorable exile.
Okay, it's not okay. Okay, all right, that's cool.
So
It's not like being shunned out.
no, if you leave, that's like you're seen as like a super patriot. You're seen like as like as
I
like a
wouldn't even. It's
martyr.
like going. Okay. Really never thought of like using exile as being honorable too. Like leave. Like okay,
It's like
because exile is always like
I mean like
dishonored
yeah, it's kind of like
and
I would say like think of it like being deployed to Afghanistan, knowing you're not gonna come back.
yeah.
It's kind of like
Oh,
it's kind of like that.
knowing.
Yeah, knowing you know you're not gonna come back. That doesn't mean you're going to die. It just means you're not gonna see your family again.
you know. Yeah, yeah.
So
That okay, I see. It's
that's
like
like
a soldier going out.
yeah,
That
literally.
honorable.
But the thing about that, oh yeah, and Sarah, she wants to be a they call them like a field chimera. That like that's what she wants to do. That's why she wants so interested in the outside world. She wants to be a field chimera to fill that duty. And her mom and like the other women, they don't like women aren't field chimeras because in order to be a field chimera, you have to like be able to give birth to a child to show that you like you're not gonna just go out there because like they want to multiply outside of the Chimera Island, and women don't want to
Yeah,
do that
I
because
see.
yeah, women don't want to do that because when they give birth, they want to see their kids grow up
Yeah, naturally.
naturally.
They do have that motherly
Yeah, it's them
connection to
the
their
mo-
children. Okay.
yeah, fathers don't have that. Like most
Ah,
fathers don't have that. It's like
I mean,
well, that's why it's like an honorable thing. Like they it's an honorable thing for even for the fathers. They're
yeah,
like you're going to start like like you're going to leave a family here and you're going to start another family out there and you're not going to see your family in here again.
like,
And they sign up knowing that. And
yeah,
but
that would be pretty hard.
it's like the hardest thing that someone can do, and that's why they're like super patriots because they're taking one for the Chimerian race. And the thing about Odd, he doesn't know his dad because his father was part of that program. And what makes him different from everybody else is that the overseers did not take care of his mom because that's part of the deal. Like if you're like a part of the family that did if your father did that, or if somebody or your
Yeah.
mother you did that, your family's basically on welfare. So the overseers are like, let's see what happens if we don't. Like, let's see what
Let's
it's
see,
like,
like, is this? another form of an experiment,
Yeah,
or is this just like
they're a bunch of scientists. They're like sociopaths.
yeah, like there's like no empathy, no nothing, just like oh,
well,
let's see what happens,
they see chimeras as test subjects. Like
and
overseers,
nothing more.
yeah, overseers have kids of their own, right? But
Yeah,
they don't see chimeras like they see humans. So they're like so a lot. It's kind of like that the mouse society experiment. Like it would suck.
yeah, I've heard about that.
It'd be ridiculous if you did that with a bunch of people. But if you do it with a bunch of mice, then like, oh yeah, this is for science. This is what
Yeah,
we're learning more about human nature if we do this. Let me say it right. Amoral scientists. Like everybody, like they're all amoral scientists. They're trying to figure out like what like how are they're basically stress testing these like chimeras to see if they'll like to see like how can they tweak their social behavior so they'll be more ready to so like the anthropomorphic chimeras to permeate the outside world, right?
yeah.
So like
So okay, yeah, I'd like to know more about this. So, but if I end up getting the book, will it tell me a lot about everything we just talked about, or is this like kind of like
you
behind
can
the scenes kind of
you can
stuff?
sense that you can sense that like I'm going to talk about it, but it's pretty self contained
Okay.
because like I give myself 10 pages to like introduce like all like four character stories and the world. And that's what I want to do with like every chapter being
Yeah,
like going a little bit more into
in depth.
in depth of their individual plights because all of their plights have something to do with their society themselves and how they see themselves in society.
Yeah, I'd like to. Like I said, I'll get my copy next week.
Awesome. I also really
And
like the that's just right. I'm sorry, you got me on a tangent because like I always like sometimes like this is why I want to have like other people working on like the art, like different teams of artists, so I can just write out as much as Chimera Island as I can. Because like there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. A lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Because I think one of my oh my gosh, one of the arcs that I think I want to have like a romance arc, like a Valentine arc, outside
oh,
of
that'd be
the
good.
yeah, just to go more into like how they how like like the romance system works. System like it's a romance like a mechanics work.
Like another part of an experiment.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like what's I started off with Odd, right? They're like Odd in his thing, like on the second half of his thing, he gets since like he doesn't have like a dad, an overseer just steps in and tells an officer, "Yo, you're gonna be his dad now." Like,
Like,
you're gonna be. It's like, oh yeah, this kid's bugging out. Hey, you officer, be his dad. Like, be like,
like,
take him under your wing and like marry his mom if you have to. And he's like, I've never like, I'm and like the
like,
officer's like,
dude,
I've never. I never married somebody before. I never had a girlfriend. I'm like, what do you mean do this? And he's like, "What do you mean, just do it?" And then like the overseer's like, "That wasn't like I wasn't asking you. That's a request."
telling you,
Like,
man. Like,
it's like that's a
yeah, like
request.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
Yeah, marry her. And like everybody knows that Odd's mom is a prostitute, so he's like, "What?" So like,
Well, well, at least I ain't gotta pay for it.
oh yeah, and another thing
But
that was pretty funny that I wrote that was very specific about it. Like since like everybody in this the overseers are like amoral scientists, like they don't have a problem with prostitution. They're like, oh yeah, prostitution like is in like literally every society. We're not gonna outlaw it. But like the thing about that, Chimera like
yeah,
I think I hinted this in like Odd's dialogue too. It's like Chimerians for the most part, there's like five different like parts of the there's five different islands, but like it's called Chimera Island, but it's like there's five different parts of the island, right? That all has like their own little beliefs, their own little denominations of like the religion, but they're all under the same kind of environmentalist. I call it environmentalism, but like,
yeah.
but it's all like Chimerian way of life. but a lot of them they just don't like. Even though like prostitution is legal, outwardly they all
Yeah.
hate it. Like they just kill prostitutes out there. Like
What?
yes, it's like they all hate it because they know it doesn't do anything positive for the society, for like the greater society at whole as a large. So like
They
so
they
like
will kill.
yeah, like prostitutes like ruin marriages. So they're like, oh yeah, if you're a prostitute, you're just going to die. Like I mean, like
Yeah,
we're
like you already
like
spoiled.
you're a mark. You're a mark. So that's
Yeah.
so like Odd and his mom would like go around from different parts of the island just to see like if she can actually hunker down. Oh yeah, and there's another thing I wanted to add. Like even prostitutes don't like each other at all.
Like, man, we're doing the same damn job,
No, it's
but
because
I don't like you.
the thing is the thing is like there's two types of prostitutes. The ones that like they do it because they have no better place to go, and the other prostitutes that do it because they don't want to work a real job. They don't want to
Oh,
they don't want to do any.
I see.
They don't want to like do effort, like do labor, right?
Like real humans.
Yeah, like really.
Like some humans, like I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. So like because of that, like the prostitutes that have nowhere to go, they hate the prostitutes that like that don't want to do like labor, like that like on a not what's the word? They don't want to do labor that is generally hated amongst the society. So
uh,
they're like, so basically, it's like you can do better things with your life. You just choose to be a prostitute, and they're like, yeah, basically. It's like
I was like,
why?
well, yeah.
It was
It's like,
like,
why do you want to do it? But it's like,
I don't want to.
but it becomes, it's just like in our human world, like
Yeah,
it's like the same thing, you know. There's some
yeah,
people they don't, and I know people like that. I don't want to get a job, but I want to sell heroin, or I just want to spread my legs,
yeah. It's like basically
you know.
selling, yeah, just selling drugs to the community, and they're like, we do,
Kind
like
of a
we,
detriment.
yeah, it's like we do, like, so the people that have nowhere else to go, they're like, I can't do literally anything else. Like for one reason or another. Well, you have like the other groups that said like I think this is easy. I don't gotta do that. I don't gotta work that hard.
I ain't gotta work that hard, and
So
that's all I have to do. And then they exploit, kind of,
yeah,
not exploit it, but yeah, kind of.
yeah. So like so usually like there would be somebody that would like murder prostitutes, and then like the police, even the police, they're like, ugh, they don't want to do this. So like they would go. I think I want to do like a side story of the police like being like, all right. Do you know this woman? And so you're like, yeah, she works here. And they're like, all right, do you know what happened to her? Like, oh yeah, she died, didn't she? It's like, do you know anything about it? Nah. Okay, thank you.
Like they don't like open
like,
shut. They don't,
yeah, it's just open shut.
like they don't care about. They won't even. Okay, it's like so looked down
Yeah,
upon. They're just like screw it. It's not worth looking into.
yeah. It's like it's not worth looking into. Like prostitutes usually they don't have they don't have family to fall back on usually, and if
Yeah.
they do, like the family is like too ashamed just to claim them as like their offspring
Oh, it makes sense in their society
in their
and
society.
in their rules.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like you would like you it's like one of those things that you would expect they would be like have each other's side, but they're all like very much petty. They all just hate each other for
And
one reason or another. There's no camaraderie amongst them. Like they just live in the same brothel and they just they just live in the same brothel and that's just it.
and there's like it doesn't go any further than that. It's just
Yeah.
like, well, we work at the same place, but we don't.
Yeah,
I It's like, bitch, I don't care what happens to you.
and that's the thing with Odd. That's where I get into like Odd's mother, right? Odd's mother, she moved from like her previous island called Harmony, same island that Sarah was from, but like same island that Sarah's from, but they don't know each other because it's a big place. Harmony, like, well, I would say Harmony is like, well, the five different islands are kind of like different part, or like think of it like a it has a different like majority, a majority species, right?
Yeah.
Because like Bedrock is like where most lizards are from, well, amphibians are from. Bog is like
Is
where
Bedrock another island?
yeah, Bedrock is another island. It's mostly where
Okay.
amphibians are. Were not where they're from, but it's the place where you mostly see them at, right? Bog is where
Okay.
a lot of fishes are from. Harmony is where a lot of mammals are from, and Aviera is where a lot of avians are from, or like birds are from. And then Harmony is like where a lot of the amphibians are from. But because Harmony is like amphibious, you see it's kind of like New York or like a metropolitan place where you see
Yeah.
a lot of like diverse life. Like
That's a good name for it too.
yeah, everybody goes there for
In
and
Harmony.
yeah, in Harmony, it's mostly like an economic. Oh yeah, and like each parts of the island have like different or like different cultural powerhouses. Because like Bedrock is like military, Aviera is art, Bog is for science, Harmony is for business, and I forgot one. I named four. Yeah, but like
Isn't it?
yeah, you have like business, arts.
I'm like
Oh yeah, yeah, and Meadow. Oh yeah,
military.
Meadow is where I say it. Meadows for like where all the meadows where all the mammals are from, and that's agriculture, right?
Okay.
So like again, with that being said, um Odd and his mother moved from Meadow to Harmony because Harmony is like has the most lax. People are like the most lax with prostitution there. Like, but it's still like
Or I mean,
where it's still like
it makes sense that it would work there.
yeah, so like it's still like in the seedy underbelly, right?
Okay.
Yeah, seedy underbelly of it, but seedy underbelly of it, but whatever. But like with Odd, he oh yeah, with Odd's position or like his family's
Yeah.
position, the overseers, like I said earlier, the overseers they didn't like take care of his family, his mom, because she's supposed to get like government checks to make up for like the missing dad. But because like they were like, all right, let's see what happens if we just don't give them government checks. Odd
And
has
they're
the
going
Odd,
fucking cruel.
yeah, but a lot of their
Hey,
experiments
they're experiments.
a lot of their experiments are like this would make a good story to like write as a novel and sell it to like the outside world. B, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, like which is very cruel. Like,
Yeah, it's like
oh man,
yeah.
like
So
an
it's yeah, so with the family being so poor, like Odd's mother, she doesn't even buy him new clothes. She gives him like hand-me-downs of her prostitute friends who
asshole.
were murdered, basically. So so like Odd is like give me I remember like on the third chapter I wanted to start like Odd's chapter with his mom like basically like slapping him so hard that he like flies across the room because he wanted to have like new clothes because he got tired of being made fun of wearing like wearing prop
Old dead gear.
yeah old dead gear and like and I remember his mom telling him like clothes are made of the same fabric, just make it work. Like stop bitching. Just like you have like the
Like,
fabric is there, just make something out of it.
yeah, I see.
So like Odd, even though like he's like he basically all of his clothes are custom made, and it's well not custom made but like kind of remixed, right? He tries to make the clothes that he has. He rips them apart, tries to and sews them
Yeah.
together, trying to make it look masculine. But
Yeah.
it's still
Oh, okay.
he tries to make it look masculine. But everybody knows like what's like they're like that's still feminine clothing.
Yeah.
So that's what like where a lot of his like a lot of his social thing of his social grief comes from. So
I'm sorry to laugh at that, but
I mean, no, it's
I
like
could
very
see
ironic.
I'd
It's
this
very.
too. I mean, because I've no, yeah. There's, I mean, that's like literally living poor, and
Yeah.
it happens. Like, you know, like I'm not trying to laugh, but it's like, damn, man.
Yeah, so like everybody thinks that he's like gay and whatnot, but he's like, no, he's like, no, I know what I am though. I know what I
Yeah,
am. It's fine.
this is just the circumstance of my situation.
Yeah, basically. And so like his whole thing is to because he has like a love for I wanted to have like another backstory with him to show like why he has like even though like he should hate everything about his society and make him what he is, he's still I want to say like he gets that from his father being like the super patriot of like doing that. I want to be like I still love this place that I'm from because I still love this place. I still love this place that I'm from. Like they, like I'll let them know that I'm like I'm one of them.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I mean, he sounds like an interesting character already. Uh, that'd be an interesting character to really like. I don't know, really delve deep into. But
Yeah.
I mean, and I like the name too.
Oh yeah. I I remember like early very early in the odds production. I like he was supposed to be gay, but like that was he was supposed to be gay for like a suit for like a later arc. But then I was like, you know what? It would be more
Yeah.
interesting if he wasn't actually. Like it would be more interesting if like the cards were so stacked against him that everybody thinks he's gay from default. And
Because
he's
of his
like
clothes and
like
his upbringing.
his clothes, his upbringing, like everything. Like if he tells anybody a single thing about his past or who he is, about his past, they would assume that he's degenerate in their society standards.
Wow, I see. Yeah, like that kind of character. Yeah, that's an interesting character. Like you can start right off of.
Yeah, it's that kind of inversion that's like very cool. And oh my gosh, and I can't wait to like get to the parts where like Jonathan and Odd interact with each other because Jonathan's an overseer. He's literally he's an overseer child, right?
Yeah,
Uh, well, like he's like well, not technically an overseer is like a job, but like since he's like a human, he's still technically like an overseer. He's seen as an overseer, but he's the only
even though
overseer.
he's just a child.
Yeah, he's the only overseer that like the chimeras are like they see him as like their own, right?
They said I don't give him no.
Yeah, they're like, oh
Okay,
yeah,
so I mean he's kind of accepted.
yeah. Jonathan is accepted as a chimera in the island,
Okay.
while Jonathan, a chimera, isn't accepted. Like, isn't accepted. So like, so not only oh yeah, and like one of my favorite things about this whole thing is that Jonathan is friends with a whatchamacallit with odds bullies like the guys that like beat him up in the chapter 0
Mm.
because I wish I hinted
Oh,
that sooner, but like when I like show like when I start with chapter 4 with Jonathan's chapter, he's just gonna like
yeah.
he's gonna be like, oh man, I can't wait to go to the chapter. I don't know how I'm gonna start it off, but like I do want to establish that yes, Jonathan is actually friends with the guys that wanted to kill Odd in the beginning. But the thing is, like, it is such a weird juxtaposition because when you first see Jonathan from Chapter 0, you see that he's the ostracized one in his society. Well, he feels like he's the ostracized one in his society, right? But when he goes to like, he feels like he's the ostracized one. So when he goes to like the Harmony, he has his own friends. Everybody respects them. Everybody is like they just are waiting to see for his return to be like, oh yeah, Jonathan's back.
Yeah.
This is
They
cool.
care about him.
They care about him. Yeah, and care about him. And I want I don't I'm trying to think of the good catalyst of making Jonathan meet with Odd, because I remember because I want like Jonathan to make friends with the guys that had his back from Chapter Zero, and then the guy
Yeah.
like one of the guys that had his back, they like he just ambushes the not ambush like violently attack, but like he says like, "Yo, you're the guys that like try to kill him. That's not cool." And then Jonathan's like, What are you guys talking about? Like, you guys trying to kill a guy?"
Like, what the hell?
It's like I don't know. It's like, it's like what's up with that?
Like, like that's pretty extreme.
He's
Like,
like, he's like,
what the hell are
well,
you guys
pump the
into?
brakes. Yo, wait, y'all trying to kill a guy?
You
uh,
know, I'll just say this real quick. Yeah, I was in a situation sort of like that, where I was walking with my friend. Well, I'll just say an acquaintance now,
mhm.
in the woods. You know, hey, come walk with me in the woods. So I said, okay. So we're walking through the woods. It was like several years ago, and I said, what are you doing? I mean, why are we walking through the woods for? What do you got to show me? Oh, I'm looking for a place to put something. Okay, what are you looking for? Uh, well, there's a sewer pipe down in the woods, randomly, and he was like, well, if something happens tonight at this party, I just need a place to put this body. I'm like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out of
Oh
here, man.
yeah,
Like, I don't
that's
know
a
what the
no.
heck you're into.
That's a big
Like,
no.
yeah,
I want it
yeah,
like I want.
we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
So,
No, but like,
yeah,
yeah, but like in this story, like Jonathan's like, what is he talking about? Like, what is he talking about? Like, but like the fox guy who tried to kill, who actually tried to
yeah.
kill Odd, like he's like, no, it's deeper than that. You like just stay out of it. It's fine. And then Jonathan's like, no, I'm like, if there's gonna be a problem, I'm gonna be the guy that to squash the beef. I'll speak on your behalf, just so you guys don't do it, just so you guys won't like beef no more. So Jonathan tracks down Odd, and Odd's like, "Oh, you're an overseer." It's like, "Yeah, my name's Jonathan." It's like, "Oh, you're that Jonathan." And it's like, "Yeah, like it's like I'm sorry that my friend tried to do all that to you." Like he like reaches out, he extends his hand for like a friendly like a friendly gesture. And it's like, "Yeah, let's just be
Yeah.
friends. Let's all cool down." And Odd's like spits in his face. And like
Like, no, mother.
yeah, like and I remember like I wanted to make it like as such a dramatic thing where like his friend who's with him he just holds like on back like yo you can't do that. It's like because like overseers are essentially like the mix of they're like police with scientists
They're
like
Judge Dredd.
they're basically like priests Judge
The
Dredd.
judge.
Judge Dredd if
Yeah,
he was
they're
like a
Judge.
if they're like seen as
Now,
like as priests because like
can
over
they execute?
yeah they can execute
Okay. Okay. All
yeah
right.
like they can
So they
like
have that kind of authority.
yeah because I remember overseers just see like the Chimeras as like an ant farm. Like I can just they can just take any of
Yeah.
them out if they feel like it. So like oh yeah that also reminds me of another arc that I want to talk about. But like there but because like he did that, Jonathan's like, oh man, I'll let you down. I'll let you guys cool off. So he goes back to chill with to chill with like his friends. And then like the fox, like the guy that tried to kill Odd, he's like, "Where did you go?" He's like, "No, don't worry about it." It's like, "What do you mean don't worry about it?" It's like
Like,
I can smell that guy on you. What happened? It's like, "No, it's fine." It's like, "Did he hurt you?" It's like, "No." Like it's just like relax. Because I want that part to be like, no, the fox he's not just he's a jerk. Like he's selectively a jerk he's a jerk to selective people. He's not a guy. He's not like a jerk for no reason, right? It's
he,
like
he
it really changes based
he
on perspective, right?
does he get like a power trip out of this? I
No,
mean, most jerks are kind of
no, for
no.
him, oh man, I remember in my first draft of like chapter 3, like I like there's a part where like he's like his name's Alfred the fox. He like has his foot on Odd's neck, And he's like, well, now that you're gonna die, first, who do you think is gonna be feel sad that you're dead? And then Odd's like, well, my mom is like, your mom the whore. Try again. It's like, the police officer is like, that guy's a pushover. No one cares about him for real. Which is gonna be like a different, which is a pretty.
Kind
Go ahead.
of dehumanizing and degrading,
Yeah, like
but also in some way just kind of, I don't know, getting a thrill out of it.
it's not like he like from my perspective, he's not trying to like
Okay.
make a thrill out of it. He's trying to like add more justification to his head because within their society, it's like everybody like nobody would care if he dies, right? He's like seen as a blight to society. So like if he does die, it will be a net positive for society. But for him, I
But you're
want
just
to.
like showing him, no,
Yeah, for him, he's
kind
like
of like
I.
giving him like,
It's not like let me say this right. For him, it's like
yeah,
I want to feel like the good guy doing this. I don't take pleasure out of this. Like I want to please my
yeah,
dad. Like this is like to him like this is like cleaning up the streets.
I see.
Like
I
it's like his moral duty. It's not like a
and it's a power trip thing. It's not, no,
it's
nothing
not
with
a
power.
power.
It's just,
It's like
it's just what.
I'm taking out the garbage. I don't want like this is a chore. I don't want to do this chore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that clarifies it for me right there.
Yeah. So he basically say like I have no problem with you. I like he even cries. He's like I don't want to kill you. Like it's it's like I don't want to kill you. It's
Yeah.
like it's like why can't you like you if you were just normal it was like I wouldn't have to do this. I don't want to do this. But like we all just have jobs to we all have jobs like roles to play, right?
Yeah.
But like he gets stopped by I'm still writing this. I'm it's a toss up between like his friend or a
Yeah.
third party that's going to be important later in the first arc, right? Like the first arc like I'm leaning towards like an important guy that's in the first arc, the director for the play that like
Yeah.
stops it before it happens and he sees like Odd's clothes and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want you to design the clothes for my play." Like for that. And Odd it's like and that's like Odd's like not justification, but that's like his role of seeing like a way for him to be validated within his community of like attributing to this play that means a lot to like the Camarian people. So like since he doesn't die and he just shows that he's vulnerable. He's just like Alfred even though he was like dominant, ready to kill somebody at that moment. He showed vulnerability and is like I don't want to do this. I don't have anything against you. I just do this for the love of my nation. Right?
Yeah.
And then Odd is like, wow, for the love of your nation. That's in a weird way. He sees like that's admirable, like doing something that he sees
Yeah.
like no like it's doing something that's so hard
Yeah.
to like
But
kill
it's,
one of your own for the betterment for everybody.
yeah, that's like, but also even, but he is feeling emotion. He is feeling that, like feeling like damn, man, I mean,
It's like I
this
wish
sucks,
it was,
but
yeah, it sucks. Like Alfred's like I wish it
but
wasn't
I
me.
have to do this.
I wish it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So so like
Yeah, that's, no, that's deep. That's pretty good.
yeah. So like with that, I remember going back to going back. I want like that part with Jonathan where Alfred's like, "Did he hurt you?" I want that to be like another showing of Alfred like he's not just like a typical bully. He cares, he actually just cares for his own and he sees Jonathan as his own. And he's like and like he really he just wanted Jonathan to say that Odd like openly disrespected him because that'll just give him a reason to do it.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
but Jonathan's like no it's cool. Relax
Like,
relax relax it's fine. Oh yeah, and there's like this last arc because it's a lot. I this is why I keep like wanting to like work on Chimera Island because it's a lot that I have in my mind that I have, which I should literally should write down, but I just haven't yet.
But
But
you enjoy, but you enjoy out of all your stories, is this the one that you enjoy writing for the most? Because it sounds like you're really invested in this one.
I think with Chimera Island, it's something that I th- literally I think Chimera Island is it's the universe of Chimera Island was like the first universe that I came up with. When I was like
Okay.
young, when I was like a very young, right? Because like I told you, when I was
And it
young,
was the
when I was super young, I wanted to tell stories with anthropomorphic animals, but like
so
because
this
of
is your story.
yeah, this is like my story. Chimera
Just
Purgatory Academy was literally like my thing of if I'm good at telling stories, then I can tell this story.
yeah.
And like people really liked not Chimera but Purgatory Academy. Yeah, people really loved the storytelling of Purgatory Academy. Then I'm like, okay, then I can tell Chimera Island. Which Purgatory
And
Academy
it
was absolutely a wild first try for like its topics and themes.
I'm gonna have to do a review on that. Like, just because I have your book here, and just not so much review, just go through it and just let people know about it. So next video you know I'll do an opening showcasing a book. I'm thinking about starting to do that.
Oh, cool.
That'd be good.
Oh,
That'd be good. I'll do it on my next video. How about that?
thanks. Oh, I really want to get this. I think I when I tell about these arcs, I never tell I barely tell not never I barely tell anybody. But I'll say this one thing and then like I'll stop talking about it forever or whatever until I write it down, right? Um, I mentioned and I talk a lot about Odd because like he's a very interesting. I think he's like one of the most interesting characters to me. Even though he's like the last characters that I created, and it was like basically on accident. Well, his dad, well, not his dad, but his guardian that was forced to marry his mom, right?
Yeah.
Um, he, I wanted to like do a whole thing where okay. It sounds like less impressive now that I say it. The overseers is doing like playing one of those tricks again, being like, let's see what happens. And the overseer tricks is basically, can we turn like whores into housewives? That's basically the idea. So
Like,
so they choose the guardian. His name's Reggie. And Reggie's known to be like a pushover. He's a gentle giant. Like he's a gigantic, like he's like a fat rabbit guy, right? He's a gentle giant.
okay.
But like and everybody knows him for like not being conflict adverse. But he's a police officer, but he's conflict adverse, right? Like he's not a very timid guy. So the whole idea of it is you as is Reggie need like if Reggie like doesn't make the relationship work between him and his mom, like they're just going to
Yeah.
kill every prostitute because they don't see the purpose of keeping them around. So like Reggie, so like there's this like a whole entire task. I don't know like how can I like expand that arc, but this entire task is like Reggie just dealing with this woman, like Odd's mom, that's just being like I'm not she's not unnecessarily difficult because she does have problems with police officers, like because of like you know what I said about like they don't really care when like they die
Yeah.
and whatnot.
And no, I mean naturally. I mean
Like
she's right about that.
yeah, she
I mean if to get that kind of treatment and then and they kind of expect it every time.
exactly. So they're so the officers are like, you're probably the best guy to make a civil woman, like make a respectable woman out of her, and if you don't, like everyone in the brothel, they're just gonna die. Like they're just gonna that, and
Uh,
that's just gonna be it. So he just has that weighing on his shoulders.
I see. Jeez.
Because it's
Well,
it's like literally that.
you know,
I don't know what I'm gonna go with that, but like I like that idea where it's like I like that idea where it's like
no,
it's he
I kind of like writing stuff between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
It
or
makes things interesting.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
even how I write, I mean,
mhm.
it's, like you have to check out my book and find out.
Oh yeah,
But but it's one of those things. It's just like, yeah, no, it's like I like where that's going and the possibilities, what you can do with that. Because I mean, yeah, I have some stuff in here that, I mean, this book is pretty graphic, but at the same time, I mean, I don't enjoy some of that stuff. I don't at all, but it's just part of the world. It's just
mm.
like what you're writing. It's it's the ugly of the world, but it's kind of needed there because if you kind of go PG-13 on it and it's just like you're vague about it, then
Oh yeah.
people won't know the depth and the intensity of that. It's just
I know what
so
you're talking
no,
about.
like yeah, I mean like I mean there's like scenes in my book where I'm just like, yeah, I didn't like that, but it had to be in there.
Like when you have moments
You
like
know,
that in your book, is it kind of like to make a point
yeah,
of like a specific,
to make the point,
or you like don't you
but
don't think
also to
like you can
show
try?
the
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
but it also shows the world, the brutality of the world, and
Mm-hmm.
show. I mean, there's the good and there's the brutality of it. It's just like I have this scene. I'll just say in a later chapter where these two boys are. Where there's one little boy. He's playing with his puppies, and it's cold outside. They're like newborn puppies. I'll just say this. It's in a later chapters further down the road. And you know, the boy's taking care of this newborn puppy. It's snowing out and everything. But the next day, his brother wakes him up, and he's like, "Hey, what do you got in your hand?" The younger boy asks his older brother, like, no, the older boy asked the younger brother, "What do you have in your hand?" And the younger brother taps one of the frozen puppies on the door uh, threshold, or like on the side of the door.
Mm-hmm.
He has a frozen puppy in his hand. He like taps it, and he kicks the frozen puppy towards his feet and says, "Hey, the puppies are frozen." Like shit like that. Like brutality of, like I'm taking something good, but what's the message of this, right?
Right.
See, the thing is, I can't really get too much into why this character is this way, but you'll find out. But it's like those things, it's like, why did you add that in there? Like, why did you put that in there? Couldn't you hide it, or just, no, I can't hide it. If I don't show the impact of someone or how they do things, and it's just like it becomes like it doesn't hit right. It's like it's just like, oh well, that villain over there, yeah, he's killed
Dude,
uh his wife, he did this and that, or but if you show it, to me it feels like it'll leave a bigger impact.
hmm.
I
Here's
mean, some things you can leave vague, you can talk about it, but there's some things that do happen in this book that I do show.
Hi Mooney. What's
Um,
hot Mooney? Boxer late. Hey, but Mooney Box. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce his last name. Hi. Remember me? It's been a while. I haven't streamed
Hello.
in a while.
I can't see anyone. I can't see anyone on this thing because we're doing this YouTube experiment.
Yeah, this you. I wonder if the vertical. I've been streaming vertically as well. I don't know if it's been working. I just went on my autistic. Every time I talk about freaking Chimera Island, I just go on like a movie length like
Yeah,
conversation
you
about like.
when you talk about Chimera Island, you sound excited and you sound uh like this is something you really are invested in. Like something like even in this book, this story, I plan on going 35 volumes with this book.
Yeah.
And this is my life work. And the thing is, it's like your Chimera Island. Like this story, I've rewritten this thing probably 10 times in my lifetime. and now it's like finally ready. It's like it's one of those things that's always around you, even when you're younger, when you're little. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that story that you need to tell, and maybe Chimera Island is that your focus story that you really need to tell. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I feel that. Like with, I do like. Oh yeah, I'm Blues. I've changed my name. Okay, how could it? Why do you expect me to remember? I remember the name Blues. Like, how can I remember? How can I know who you are if you change your name? Like, I like your alias on the internet is
I
the only way I know who you are. But yeah, I remember you, Blues. But yeah, I like
my character, she's got a tail. She's half
yeah.
dragon, but I don't talk about that yet. But, she's not. Well, in her story, you'll find out she gets abused and gets treated like shit. But at the same
Mm,
time, this is like her time of growth to be a better person. Well, she's not bad or nothing like that. She only understands bad. Like bad things always happen to her, but if she feels that if she can do good for those people that's treating her bad, then maybe they will, accept her for who she is. And she's an experiment too.
oh,
And I'm not gonna get into too much into that. Go ahead.
do you think about like what genre your story would be if it was a game? What
Oh,
type
if it
of
was a
game?
game,
Yeah, what type of genre of game would it be?
uh, I didn't think about that. Probably it's funny that you said that. Probably like an RPG. Um, I love game creating. Even before when I was teaching myself to learn Python to program, I was creating my own sprites, doing all that stuff. So I always liked that whole Castlevania Symphony of the Night,
Mm-hmm.
and I always loved Street Fighter Third Strike. That's like my favorite game. I'm a master at Street Fighter Third Strike, and not to boast or toot my horn, but um, I love the control system. So I was like integrating, putting both of those together. But except you have a sidestep and a side scroller, and but yeah, it would be a JR. It'd be an RPG game slash fighter.
Mm, I feel that.
Um, um,
I feel that.
yeah, it would be like that. It could. I mean, what are you thinking? Like, what about you?
Oh yeah, I.
Like, why did you ask?
Oh no, it's just that I would sometimes think. You could tell when I was like talking about my story, I would like talk about mechanics because like but
As if it were a
if
game.
it was as if it was a game or like the mechanisms of like the story. Like with I actually have plans to like making game versions of like different of like each of the story. Purgatory Academy, Chimera Island, and Metal
Yeah.
Hero. Like I can imagine Metal Hero being like a WarioWare type game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, like a no, like the mini the bunch of mini games type deal. I can imagine Purgatory Academy. I at first I want it to be like one of the, like a Danganronpa like detective game,
Yeah.
but a little bit,
Oh yeah.
but more. How would I put this? Uh, 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 think of it. Have you ever played like a D&D game or like Friday Night Funkin' or know how that works?
I yeah, I've seen some of that
So like
stuff.
what
Yeah, like
like when you're on a rhythm, like you like the meter goes more, you earn more of the meter. But if like somebody else does better, their meter gets bigger, right?
yeah.
I imagine like it's something like
It's
that. It's like
a
a mix of that where you have like
it's an adaptation of Parappa the Rapper,
yeah,
kind of,
not
or Jam Lammy, kind of.
I guess I would say it like this, right? I imagine like it would be a mix of Persona, like my the original
Oh yeah.
the original like Purgatory Academy game that I wanted to make. It would be kind of like Persona, mixed with a yeah, mixed with like WarioWare
Mm.
with a sort of like a hub world elements. It would have a life like oh man, I read this like 2 3 years ago, where that had like this time mechanic, right? Oh yeah, Blue says
Yeah.
long time no see, long time no see. Um, it would have this time mechanic
Do I know Blue?
uh, where you have would follow like 8 different uh characters, right? But if you
Yeah.
spend time with like 8 with a character, like time would progress, and that would lock you out with from like other interactions, right? But you can choose,
Yeah.
but you can choose to do to like hop in and out different stories. But if you hop into a different story at a different time, you lose influence with that person, and their story would have changed drastically if you haven't influenced them.
I see. Okay. So things can change in the heat of the moment, or just it depends on your decisions and what you want to do.
Yeah,
It can change.
it depends on like who you hang out with, if
Yeah.
you depending on like how you interact with the person, and if you pass their mini games, right? So there's a
See,
lot of room for failure and a lot of room for replayability.
that's yeah, I was gonna say that's like a high replay value on
Yeah, like
that
a
because
high.
you can always go and you can go back and play, like, well, what if I did this? And I can see, I kind of like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Huh.
and like there it would still have like the playground of ideas where you either play as the id or the super ego, and then you're trying to convince like the ego to do one thing or another. And I want it to be like something sort of like a D&D type deal where it's
Yeah.
randomized and you have like pull from like all these different cards of let's say the ego wants to do they like wants to, I don't know, shoot a guy. And like
Yeah.
you choose and you choose to be like the id or the ego, but the ego would have a proclivity towards a certain type of like rhetorical appeal, and depending on like how you play and throughout the game, you hit on certain rhetorical appeals either easier than others. So like
Yeah.
some other rhetorical appeals either easier than others. So like you're like throughout the game, you would play different cards, different rhetorical appeal cards to win over the ego. And when you win like a playground of ideas, just like in the comic, you earn more credits. And when you have more credits, you get to buy like certain key items with certain people's storylines.
Okay. Now, I know in some games, when you play them, they'll sometimes give you like fan art or like artwork. Now, would you ever do like pages from your book in your game?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Like add them in as like hidden Easter eggs, like you can collect so many pages to read.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
probably.
interesting.
I think that would be like that. Like my first Purgatory Academy game would probably be my first Purgatory Academy game idea would probably be my dream game. But since I don't, since like I probably need like probably a quarter of $1 million to make that. I'm just gonna work on like smaller games and work
Yeah.
up to that.
Yes. No, I understand. I've been in that position, like sitting there making like actually with Blender going in, uh, make because I was learning Blender and programming, and also I was doing Flash too at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and so what I would do sometimes and I found fun in it. I was making a game called Gun Night, and it deals with the events prior to my manga Under God. It's
Right.
like it's how we're in Gun Night. You pretty much you're the Secret Service like over 1,000 years ago or whatever, and um you're setting these beacons up for the events of this book. You're setting these beacons up for to to start setting the place for the disciples to rule. And you don't know that. Your character doesn't even know that you're starting the events in this book. You're just a Secret Service, and you're just abiding by orders, and you're starting to set things up so, for the moon god. It's
Right.
crazy. It's
Oh
crazy,
no,
but
that that reminds me of the Chimeric Island game I wanted to make, right? And like the whole point of the game, it's called like I know the title. It would be like something like Rebuild Harmony, where you will basically play as the overseer, trying to create the chimeras. It's like one of those it's like a sim, like a civilization sim game, right?
yeah, dude, that would be that would be cool.
Yeah, so
I
like
mean, for real.
that you would make the different species like the fish and the mammals and like all the other stuff, and you give them their own cultures and you try to keep them from
Yes.
killing each other.
It's like it's like setting the events for the future
Yeah,
into what's to come.
and then it turns into like the
And that's
game,
what I like.
and then it turns into the game like out of nowhere. It just turns into Plague Inc. Like it's like, all right, you made the chimeras. Congratulations. Now to infest the world and see how you did.
Yeah, that's cool, man. See, yeah, like that's what I like. It's like even like in my book, there's a history to it. There's a present and there's a future. You know, there's a timeline of everything that's to be, and that's what's gonna happen. Oh, hey Mason,
Yeah.
here in a couple minutes, I gotta start getting ready to cook dinner tonight.
Oh no, I get you. I
I
understand.
It's like
I
9 o'clock.
did not expect to like go to talk as much as I did,
Hey,
but
we're enjoying the conversation, and we went from the hero's journey into Kotenketsu
Koten Ketsu.
to Chimera. Yes,
Yeah.
to Chimera Island. Just it was cool. And just drawing a bit. So it's just before you know it, like I know you say, oh, we'll talk for an hour. It's like 2 hours now. It's cool. No, I enjoy it. It's fun, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, thank you for. I'm glad you talked to me. You should spoil your book more often.
I I know. I should. I know. I just like it's just like everyone asks me, oh, what's your book about? What's your volume one? I'll tell like briefly, but then the events that happen in the book and how it goes, I can't.
Honestly,
It's like,
dude,
I'll go ahead.
it's because like you got interested in Chimera Island because I basically spoiled like a lot of what I have in the future, and I only and like when you read it, it's going to like be this like the crust of the surface of it,
Yeah,
right? And if
yeah.
I didn't spoil everything to you, you probably wouldn't be as interested as you are now.
Oh, I'll still, I'll still read it. It's like one of those things. Like, yeah, I'll still get down. I still want to have the physical copy in my hands, and still, I'm willing to go through it. And learn, and see the world, and and take it all in.
Yeah.
Even if you told me some stuff, like even in my book, like there's things like I won't even like tell. Like I'll give you brief stuff, but at the same time, um I don't want to spoil it because I've had people like DM me and say, hey, you can talk about your book, but don't talk too much because I don't want to know what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, those are like that. Those are like easy sales though. Like
I mean,
that's like if someone says don't tell me about your book, then I'm like, all right, say less. That's fine. That's cool.
these are people, they bought the book and they're like, don't they straight up like messaged me and said, hey, no, stop, don't talk about it no more because I want to know what's gonna happen. I said,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a great
If you
feeling to have.
just, I mean, dude, like I like what you got so far. It's just like pushing it out there. Yes, I
Yeah,
know. I mean, shit, you're always putting your stuff out.
that's why I'm so money
And
hungry right now because I'm like I want to get money so I can pay people to work on the stories while I'm working on like the games while I'm working on other things so I can tell the stories that I want to tell as fast as possible.
Yes.
because it's crazy, and I'm
Like
envious of people who are able to do it, who are able to like get people to like give them money. I'm just not.
oh
I guess I don't have that talent yet, so that's why
man,
I'm
you have
regretting.
talent, man. You got I like you've got like me. How I talk, I'm like broken all up because my mind's like scatterbrained as hell. But I know what I want to say and do. Um, but at the same time, like you have like more. I mean, you speak much more clear than I do,
You,
and you finish your sentences.
okay,
And
like, okay. So I know this is gonna be like a weird like the circle, the circle jerk hour. Like,
sorry,
it's like, no, you're great. No, you're great. Shut up. You're
like nah,
great.
man. But but I'm just saying, I'm just like, well, I don't know, maybe I don't know.
No,
Just
you're
do it.
great.
It's like, no, man, you're great. No, motherfucker, you say you're great. I'm
Like,
gonna pull this trigger on you.
tell me I'm
So,
great one more time. See what happens.
and it's all good. So, I mean, like, you have an audience. They're there.
Right.
And how old are you?
I'm 25, about to turn 26 this year.
Okay.
I
All
mean,
right. I remember when I was 26.
like
See,
it.
I'm
What?
like way older than you.
Oh, really? How old?
Yeah. Let's say 14 years older than you.
Dude, it's so freaking funny. I know that it feels like I hit it off with people just way older than me. It's like like a
Yeah.
weird, well, something weird that I
A lot of
notice.
a lot of people get surprised about, how old I am, but at the same time they're like, "How do you work like that?" Like you're in your 20s. I'm like, because I've been doing this for a long time. But also it's like one of those things like I don't think of my age or all that stuff. I mean, with certain things I do, yeah. Um but
Hmm.
I feel like I'm still in my 20s, like I don't feel old at all.
What was that Walt Disney quote? You don't aging is not the problem. You don't grow up or something. I don't know. Shout out to
Uh,
Disney. I get. You know what? I'm finding Disney being a cool guy more and more. You know, at first I thought he was like lame, but now I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's all right. Maybe he was
he's
just like, maybe he was just a guy that wanted to make cartoons.
he did. Like, man, I read his autobiography back when I was a kid. And because I always wanted to work for Disney, real quick, a few more minutes. I always wanted to work for Disney, so I learned everything about Disney, about Mortimer, his brother, about how he started it. He did all the things in his garage, like the animation, like all those really complex stuff, because he was driven. That was his passion. Like that's what and I thought that was so cool, and I
Mm-hmm.
try to mimic what he was doing, and I like I said, I always and then when Lion King came out when I was like younger, when that movie first came out in theaters, I was like, after that and Aladdin and all that stuff, I was like, yeah, I really want to work for them. Things didn't happen that way, and because of video games and stuff. So I was like, and I wanted to work for Nintendo. I was gonna go out to Seattle, work for. I was 16 at the time, and uh, I
Nintendo
was like,
hires
man, I wanna.
Westerners just like that.
Well, I mean, like I was gonna go through their college in Seattle. They have a
Okay.
college called Digipen out there, and here in the West, here in Seattle.
Huh.
Well, I'm in Ohio, but here, yeah, it's in the Seattle, and I was gonna go there, but the reason why I didn't because my dad was like, he didn't like technology stuff like that. He said, that's the devil's work, and I didn't want to disappoint him, so I didn't go to Nintendo. And now I look back at him like, so all my friends they got to work for video game companies and all this. Like all my friends, all that stuff, they worked on video games, they worked on major stuff, and they look at me like they're like, "What do you work on? What do you do?" They kind of like look at me through their nose, and so now when I'm like, "Okay, well, fuck you guys, I'll put my manga out and you guys will see this book everywhere
And you
one
guys are
day.
and you guys are gonna live through crunch until you die. How's that crunch culture going?
Yeah, and then they have
Bitch.
these, you know,
Like,
and they got a lot of college debt, like I don't have no college debt. I have never been to college. I taught myself how to draw,
yo, for real.
you know. Like I
How's it
for
sleeping under the table? Freaking video game loser.
like I mean it was crazy. You remember like the guy I told you that came here with that shadow person with him?
Oh yeah.
Like I grew up with him and he worked for like major companies like you'll see his work everywhere. And but we grew up together,
Mm-hmm.
and when I started working on his manga, I was like, I said, I'm not gonna show this dude. I mean, he's my friend. I don't know. I say that because there's been jobs where he could have helped me get. I did my resume, got everything, and in some way, he like set it up to where someone else got it.
Oh.
And I was like, dude, like I got my portfolio ready, and you pick someone else to, like he's like, well, and he thought it was funny. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put this book out, and you're gonna see it everywhere. And so that's like one of my things, like, uh, is my way of getting even. Because in some ways, like, I don't want to see you doing nothing. I don't want you to succeed. I don't want you to be anything. Like, he doesn't tell me in words, but he does it by action.
Mm.
And I said, okay, I get it, man. Like this happens all the time. So I said, all right, well, last time he was here, I had my manga out on the table because I'm working on this desk right here. And he said, hey, oh, that looks really good. Can I see that? I said, oh, no, it's nothing, man. I covered it up. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. You know, that was the last time I really talked to him. But now the book is done. And a funny thing was, I'll show the page. This page real quick, and then I gotta start cooking
Yeah, I'm sorry.
before it gets too
I
late. No, you're
gotta, I
fine.
gotta
I'm
end it.
enjoying the conversation. I'm
That's
enjoying
my
the
problem. I
conversation.
talk to people too much.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. I think it was this page. Might have been this page.
That's
He's seen that.
friggin' that's
Eh,
friggin' sweet.
but all the pages, look like this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he's seen that, all hand drawn. And I said, he's like, can I see that? Like the original page was like laying on the table. And I just said, no, it's okay. I said, it's all right. Because it's like one of those things, like if I show my work and you're gonna laugh at me or like kind of like degrade me all the time, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna show you.
Hmm.
You know, why aren't you showing me, man? Because you snicker and give me a smirk or something, and I don't tire of that shit.
Yeah, like, what's that supposed? Yeah, what message is that supposed to send? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do that all the time, then why do I want to feel degraded and dehumanized? I'm showing you my work, and if you're gonna smile in my face, then fuck you. I don't want to show you shit.
For real.
So that's where I'm at. I'm like, so but right now I don't. I think he's in Columbus somewhere. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
other than that, like when it comes to my work, I'm very serious about it. Like even with this indie space, when they start talking about in my last video, I kind of ranted. I was pissed, and I was saying about like in the indie space, there's like favorites. There's like a mainstream indie, and then there's like the underground indie. It's like I had this one guy. He bought my book and stuff, and he wouldn't showcase it. He just showed the front of it. It wouldn't show the case, the art, nothing. But then he went to this other guy and said, "Oh yeah, this guy, he's the Western manga." And I said, okay, I get it, I get it. I will never tell you about Volume Two. I won't say anything. This is my strategy. When I started hearing stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I get it. I won't go too deep into. It's like surface level because I understand what it is. Maybe, and I just leave it at that. because
Mm.
I'm not gonna push any further. I'm like, I don't need your validation to be like to say, hey, I'm this person, I'm this. I'll just let the work speak for itself and let the people decide. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but other than
more
that,
more than
man,
more than letting the work speak for itself, but like understanding like or just getting it getting it to where people can look at it or see it or
yeah,
just talking about it because
yeah, like,
doing it is half the battle. The other half is
yeah,
promotion, especially when you're by yourself in this indie scene.
and like the thing is like, if if this guy's a platform for the indie scene, and he's not showcasing like indie work, but he's only showcasing like popular ones like Ripazine, which is okay. But
I
what
mean,
about the other ones? You know?
like it's. I was thinking about that too. Okay, well, I'll leave it at this, right?
Yeah,
It's still SEO, right? This is one thing that
yeah,
I've learned about when I was doing podcasts, right? Like you don't earn anything from the algorithm from talking about little guys. It's all trend
it's big
jacking.
guys.
It's all trend
Yeah, the
unless
trend.
it's all trend jacking. And even if the bigger guys want to extend a olive branch talking about the little guys, people don't want to see that. People aren't going to
Yeah,
look at find something new, right? So
yeah.
that's what we have to move differently. Like to quote
Yeah.
Eric July, we gotta move different. we,
Yeah,
got, we, got, we gotta
yeah, I have no problem with them. But yeah,
yeah.
no, you're right
We
about that.
can't
I mean, we do.
we can't really
So next
rely.
video I do, I'm going to show your book.
Thank you. I'm like we can't really rely on like shout outs and to like that
No,
degree. For
no, it's got to be more in depth.
it's gotta be more in depth. We gotta be more. But actually that's like the thing that I like about being indie is like we can because it reminds me of like the days of old like the old days of gaming like the 2000. If you look at the marketing of like old like 2000 era games when gaming was still niche,
Yeah.
the marketing was insane. It was guerrilla. It was not trying to do like advertisement, like paying for Facebook ads, going on TV. No,
Mhm.
no, it's like stuff that you would see on the news and being like, and people being like, "What the
Yeah.
heck was this?" Like they don't do that anymore.
No,
It's like you could like
they don't.
if you're smaller, you could do literally whatever you want as long as you don't go to jail.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So like we can't. So like we gotta look out. We gotta look outside the box. Then from outside the box of like looking at what manga plus or what Shonen Jump or the Japanese are doing because this is a this is like a different era of entertainment and we have to
Yeah,
move as such.
differently.
We can't. Yeah,
And we have to.
we can't rely on like old media methods of getting our stuff out there. Even though it's helped to look it's helpful to look back and learn from
Yeah.
why they from what they did. But we have to ask ourselves like why did they do it? Why did they do it at this specific time? Why did it work? Right? And when
Yeah.
you actually break it down, they like things don't get big for no reason, right? So
Yeah, it's true. It
we
has to start somewhere.
yeah, it has to start
And
somewhere. Usually, it takes off with capital. So if we could find a way, if like it, I want to find a way for indie people, for like indies can for indie people can like earn capital without killing themselves over Kickstarter, right?
yeah, that's the thing too. Like even that, like if you're not known and you put a Kickstarter, I mean, I went through it. If you're not known and you go through a Kickstarter, and if it doesn't, make it like like you have to be known in some way. You have to grow some popularity. You have to, like, even to do a Kickstarter, you have to people have to know you.
Yeah, in order.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
but like knowing that, I was like, well, instead of like, you know, I mean, Kickstarter is good for getting eyes on your project, win or fail. It is good to get eyes on your stuff. But at the same time, I think in the end, I said, well, if I can pay for this stuff out of my own pocket and get it to the public, and that's another task right there. I mean, you can pay for it out of pocket, whatever, but to have people buy it, that's another, you already know, that's another I mean,
God,
you can
okay.
have physical copies around, but then selling it to the people, that's another venue. That's another hat you got to wear in
I'm,
this whole business.
dude, I'm willing to teach a class on like how indies can sell their books. The problem is people are gonna see my numbers, my socials, and they'll be like, "This guy doesn't know what he's talking about," and that's like, and huh? Oh well, that is what it is though. Like I can literally,
No,
I
we
can
gotta
like,
work on that, man.
yeah, that's what like that's. Dude, if I ever blow up, it's gonna be over. I'm gonna give the key. I'm gonna spit game like no one's ever
Yeah,
seen before. I'm looking forward to
exactly,
that.
man. You do this stuff because it's like, you know, like even the thing is like, even if I mean, I do get pissed if like, you know, um, you put in the work. It's like going to a job, going to your work, and you're busting your ass, and you're going above and beyond, and your boss is like, well, this new employee I just hired, I know you worked for me for several years, Mason, and I know you, I think you bust your ass. Well, like, what do you do, Mason? Imagine your boss saying that to you, but he hires his new crackhead employee and says, "Oh man, you work so much faster than Mason, but all of his parts are all fucked up. You know, everything he does is all fucked up, and he's overlooking your efforts and your work. You know, like this is
Mm.
that's the kind of shit. You know, I kind of got why I got mad yesterday. Even on my YouTube video, it was just like um, one of those things. Like it reminded me of work being repeated on the indie space. It's like you put out all this effort, you do this work, you go above and beyond, and sometimes your work can go above the mainstream people, and it's like, oh well, this guy right here, he's not. I know he's not really well known, but man, I mean, look at his shitty work, man. He's like so much better than Mason, man. You know, I see that Mason's doing awesome work, but no, they wouldn't even say that. I don't know what he does, but they seen your work.
Oh wait.
But they're just like kind of like, yeah, but they're like divert. They're like divert because of who it is. And I'm starting to find this out because of how popular you are or who you are.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, it's
yeah. No,
like,
like nobody cares unless you have clout.
yeah,
That's
and
the
I'm just
problem.
like, that's yes,
And
and
like
that's
that, like we can turn
where
that
we're
bug
at.
and we can turn that bug into a feature somehow. Turn like that age old saying of turn that negative into a positive. But let me read this.
Yeah,
Let me read the comments before we head out. All right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Lemai says, "Oh no, well I graduated and did not get in my field. Yeah, that's also happens." Mooney says, "LOL." Lemai says, "How am I going to sell a book about a wizard fed in the ALT? Summarize everything in a sentence, 7 words or less, and be prepared. Like if it's real easy. If somebody asks you more questions after you say your 7 words, then you move on to the next person." And if somebody asks, like, if somebody wants to get more interested or asks you a question after that, that's when you know that you can pretty much go a little bit. You can be a little bit more specific of how you got that idea.
Mhm.
Well, this is this. I'm saying this as like if you're trying to sell this person to person, right? Um,
Yeah.
person to person. But when it comes to the internet, I'll let you know when I know if when I have consistent sales on the internet. I will let you know like what works for me specifically. Because right now I do get like sales ATL. Oh, in the ATL. What's the ATL? But yeah, but I like if I
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay, in the Atlanta. I don't think that's it, but
And I was like, let's see.
yeah, ATL. But yeah, just that 7 words is very crucial. I I remember somebody. I remember the first time I was like in a I was streaming, not streaming, but I had a review. Oh, not view, but what was it? A video with Muzi. It was like an interview with him. And
Oh yeah.
I inherited one of his a logs for a while, and I remember he was making fun of me, saying like, "Do you want me to explain in 7 words?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." But even though that's been I guess that was like a meme for me, but it's true. If you can explain what you got to say in 7 words,
Yeah.
that shows that you're good at communicating what you can, and throw in a spoiler or two to show that to show people that you know what you're writing about, or explain why you're writing something. When I mean why you're writing something, explain the message that you want to get across with your story, because that shows confidence that you know what you're writing about, and this person will be prepped to know what they're in for.
Yeah.
If they is and
Okay.
everybody's different, right? Some people want to
Yes.
some people want to go for a wild ride, but most people aren't. Most people love security, so most people love predictability. Like we said earlier in this conversation, we like if you're in a right white if you're writing for Westerners, it makes sense to write the hero's journey, because most Western audiences, well, all the Western audiences, they understand the hero's journey. That that
Yeah.
resonates in our brains. That's familiar to us. If you're trying to sell to people, if you're trying to sell something, sell something that is familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
So that's my answer to you. Yes, Atlanta. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Okay, it is.
It was Atlanta. So yeah, that's all I got.
Are there any more
Is there any more?
comments
Any more comments? That's the
or question
comments.
or any more questions?
Yeah, that's all the questions. That's all the comments. Man, we've been streaming for a lot longer than expected.
Well, I appreciate you very much, man, Mason. Like I said, my next video I'll probably drop it tomorrow. Maybe I'll see what's going on, or it'll be Wednesday. Because right now I'm on crunch time to get this book done by the end of this month, and we'll see what happens. But like I said,
yeah.
on my next video I will show off Purgatory Academy.
Nice, nice. I'll keep this. I'll keep this. I was debating on like what
I'll let
should
you
I.
know.
I was thinking like should I do the stream? Should I like hop private the stream? Like no, I gotta help. I gotta help you out. I gotta have you in the ats as much as possible. I gotta get the vertical stream up, because that's probably gonna increase some views. But that's enough of this stream. Y'all take care.